Hello, I'm Greg Gramberg, School to Career and Career and Technical Education Coordinator for the Oregon School District. I also write the Carl Perkins Grant for a number of districts in South Central Wisconsin, and this video is specifically about the Carl Perkins Grant and how it has changed. As I've mentioned in a couple of my past emails, we are in a confusing time of the year for the Carl Perkins Grant because for the 1920 fiscal year, we are spending and submitting reimbursements and just had a budget modification approved, but yet we also are getting ready to start the 2021 writing process for the Carl Perkins Grant, which means as we move forward, I will try to be as specific as possible as to what fiscal year I'm talking about, but it can get confusing moving back and forth. This video is about the 2021 fiscal year Carl Perkins Grant, or next year's Carl Perkins Grant that we need to start writing. Perkins V has just come out and been approved at the national and state level. So I will warn you that there's a lot of differences in the Carl Perkins Grant this year than in past years. Please know that the theory behind Carl Perkins is the same: to support and encourage career and technical education and career training for high school students, and to make sure that we can go through as educators and align our classroom practices with industry standards to prepare our students both for college and careers following their high school graduation. That theory of Carl Perkins has not changed, but the process has. There are 5 things I'd like you to know from this video, and then we'll have more videos coming up with different information. The first one is simply what I just said. The process has changed, the theory has not for Carl Perkins. Second thing to know about Carl Perkins this year is that they have moved to a cluster focus more than a pathways focus. In the past, you had to not only pick the career cluster out of the 16 career clusters, like health services, but you also had to pick a pathway: therapeutic, diagnostic. There are about 170 or 180 career pathways. We at secondary education are now focusing in on the clusters, which means for agriculture, we can say agriculture, but if you want to, you can get as specific as plant systems and animal systems. Completely up to you, and that is your choice as a district if you want to be very broad, agriculture, or very narrow, plant systems and animal systems, and separating them out. As we learn more about the changes, and as we learn more about the comprehensive local needs assessment that I'll talk about in a little while, then you can decide what's best for you and your district. Also, please know that we're talking clusters or career areas. We're not talking licensure. For example, in the Oregon School District, we have one family consumer science teacher that teaches both health occupations and our hospitality and culinary courses. We have another family consumer science teacher that teaches all of our child care teacher and ACCT courses. For that teacher that teaches hospitality and healthcare, they will need to do 2 comprehensive local needs assessments, one for each career area or one for each cluster. So we've got processes different, but theory is the same. We've got that we're looking at clusters, not pathways. Other big change is that we're going through and looking at a 2-year cycle. So we will do our needs assessment every 2 years, but we'll set the budget every year. This is an important change because now, as a school district and as a career cluster program, you need to be looking out 2 to 4 years rather than just 1. We'll walk through it, we'll make sure we're all good, but a very big change looking 2 years out rather than just 1. And ideally, maybe 3 or 4 years out. Fourth thing I'd like you to know from this video: special populations for Carl Perkins has a new definition. Special populations in the past really focused in on students with disabilities, low socioeconomic students, and a little bit with non-traditional occupations. That has expanded to cover now, rather than 3 areas, 7. And I can tell you that the state of Wisconsin is putting a focus on all 7. Those 7 student subgroups that qualify as special populations under Carl Perkins are students with disabilities, students that qualify for free and reduced lunch, the low socioeconomic status, students that are in a non-traditional occupation based on gender, a male going into nursing, a female going into construction, would both be considered non-traditional occupation areas. English language learners count as special populations for Carl Perkins Grant, as do those students that qualify for the homelessness benefits as given by the McKinney Veto Act, students that are in or have exited foster care, single parents and expecting moms, and finally, students who have a parent or guardian that is active duty military also count as special populations. I've been reading these off of a list because I don't have them memorized yet, and I will make sure I list them out for you multiple times. But know when we talk special populations that those are the 7 areas of subgroups of students that we're talking about. Fifth and final one is comprehensive local needs assessment. Every consortium, every Carl Perkins grant, so for those where I write the grant, that would be 9 districts, we need to do a comprehensive local needs assessment. What we'll do is we'll do small ones as individual districts, and then I will combine them into one large comprehensive needs assessment. We will walk through this step by step. We'll make sure that you've got everything you need as we go through this process. Please ask questions, but I know this is something that is very different from in the past. Again, theory is the same, process is different. So again, Carl Perkins 2021 writing process is starting. This is a confusing time for Carl Perkins because we're administering one grant while writing the next. And the 5 things to know, because there are some big changes, are the process is different, but the theory is the same. We're focusing in on clusters, not pathways, but now also not licensures, although Carl Perkins grant can only spend on CTE licensed teachers. It's a 2-year planning process rather than a 1-year. Special populations has new definitions, and we have to do a comprehensive local needs assessment. My next video will talk about the starting of that comprehensive local needs assessment. In the meantime, or at any time, if you have questions or are confused, please reach out via phone, text, or email, and I will make sure that we connect. Thank you, and have a great day.